Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Manny Talks Shooting is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Did you know that Phil the Groundhog isn't the only thing Puxatawny, Pennsylvania is famous for? That's right, D2 Custom Guns, the home of Dan Heizenreiter and one of the best, fabulous 2011 builders in the country. So make sure you guys go check him out, D2 Custom, anywhere you can see him on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, go check him out. If you see myself, Patches Reader, anyone with the D2 Custom Guns, make sure you go check him out, and you will thank me later. Now, let's get on to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast on the internet, because that's where everything lives. The internet, if it's not there, it doesn't exist, pretty much. So this show is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns, one of the best fabulous 2011s in being made currently by a small shop builder. So if you're interested, go to d2customguns.com, check them out, hit up Dan Heizenreiter, get that pistol ordered. For one of you lucky folks, you could win one from the Buckeye Blast. We're gonna be drawing soon. Probably when this comes out, it'll be in the past, so the winner will already be announced. So you never know. But you had that awesome chance to win that awesome gun. But today we're sitting down with a man who forgets a lot of things for one major match, but he wears lots of blue. We're sitting down with Ike Starnes. How you doing, Ike?
50-50.
At least it's not worse. But hey, thanks for coming on. It's been a minute. I think we've been wanting to do this one for a minute, or I think I've wanted to do this one, and I just finally reached out to you. So we'll have a good conversation nonetheless.
Yeah, it's got to be better than Greg Robinson's.
Yeah. Well, that's not hard, but he eats crayons, so, or he ate crayons. So.
Exactly.
But Ike, for people who don't know you or haven't heard from you or don't know you at all, who are you and how did you get into shooting?
Well, my name is Ike Starnes. I'm a North Carolina native. I started shooting at a very early age, around 8, 9 years old. Just rifles and shotguns. Got my first handgun right after I started going to college. And I got my CCW permit, 21. As soon as North Carolina started doing them. And didn't really do much with handguns at all until probably around, I don't remember exactly, probably around 2012, something like that. I was going to the range a lot with some coworkers, and we were just basically burning ammo, shooting a lot of rifle stuff at the local indoor range, and we would pull the handguns out a little bit as well. And then one day, David Burton, you might know him, the British guy. Everybody knows him as the British guy, or the guy that wears the kilts at the matches. He came up to me because he saw me there pretty much 2 or 3 days a week. And he said, you want to shoot a match? And I said, what kind of match? And he said, we shoot handgun matches. And I said, well, I can't really shoot handguns. And then he'll tell you that I still can't. So 10 years later, he'll tell you that I still can't. Got hooked on the matches, and that's pretty much how it got started. Shooting indoor hit factor outlaw matches for about a year. And then David said, let's start our own USPSA club. And so that's what we did.
So that was a lot to compact. So as you grew up, you said it was mostly rifle and shotguns. Was it like plinking 22 kind of stuff? And then...
No, I grew up in a farming community. So we did a lot of big bore rifle shooting, hunting, and tons of shotgun stuff. So a lot of small game shotgun hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, cousins and I would just go out and shoot a lot of. I was doing like fast shooting competitions among my cousins and my friends when we were like 12, 13, 14 years old.
Mm.
Yeah, but nothing like run and gun or nothing like USPSA practical shooting stuff.
Right, gotcha.
Set up a bunch of stuff and see who could shoot it down the fastest, that kind of thing.
Oh, so kind of like a makeshift plate rack.
Plate rack, yeah, but with bottles and cans mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if so, back when you were younger and you were hunting, or when you got into that kind of stuff, what was the most memorable hunt you've ever had?
Probably the most memorable hunt was when I was around 16 or 17. We went to I used to go with my dad out west. We would go to Kansas and South Dakota, Nebraska. And one year we went out there, and the conditions were miserable, just absolutely miserable. It was super cold, and they had a big snow. And I remember trudging across some of those fields was just absolutely ridiculous. And I got tired of it on the second day, and I said, I'm going to sit in the car. And my dad came up over the hill after walk, because most of those fields were like 1 mile square. He came up over the hill through that field, and he had three big pheasant cocks in his hand. And I thought that was just the greatest thing I'd ever seen. Still a young man, and I saw him do that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it too. So I got out of the car at the next place, and I trudged right along the rest of the way. But I think that was probably my most memorable.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Is that what did your dad prefer, pheasant hunting, or was that just
Yeah,
one of them?
yeah, he was a big bird hunter. He didn't do any other type of hunting. He didn't care for rabbit hunting or squirrel hunting or anything like that. He wanted to shoot doves. He wanted to shoot pheasants.
Yeah, birds.
Yep.
And it takes it does take a lot of skill. Now, when you went bird hunting, did you always take a dog?
No, by the time I was old enough to start going and stuff, my dad had stopped keeping dogs.
Hmm.
So one of the guys that was with us, he would take a dog. But that thing I remember from like 4 or 5 times that he brought that dog, it was kind of worthless. Uh, yeah, it was just terrible. So no, most of the times we didn't have dogs, or if we did, they weren't very good.
So you were the dog. You flushed it out.
Yeah, what we would do most of the time would be we'd drop 3 or 4 guys off on one end, and then they would drive around to the other end of the uh, whatever we were walking through, and then we would just walk through it, kind of spaced out. Yeah.
Gotcha. I've not been fortunate enough to go any form of bird hunting, but that does always sound fun. So that was cool. So your buddy David, everyone knows in the kilt. I mean, if you've seen him at any Area 6 major match, pretty much you're gonna know that's the guy with the kilt.
Yep.
I didn't know his name, but I always, you see videos of him and or pictures, and it's like, oh, I know that guy. I know his face, or at
Right.
least his pants, so you can
Yep.
call him pants. But is he always on the range in a kilt, or only when he works a match?
No, he only does that on Sunday of the major matches that we work. Yeah.
Why only Sundays? Now I'm curious.
I don't know. I think it's like Tiger wore red and black on Sunday. David wears his kilt on Sunday.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. So you said you and David and yourself started a USPSA match or
Yeah.
a match?
He started the club. It's our local indoor match. We were just doing action pistol. That's what we were calling it. It was just an outlaw match, and then he goes, "Let's start our own USPSA club," and he started it up. Um, and I think that was around, if I remember correctly, probably around 2016. So we've been doing USPSA and action pistol outlaw matches for about 2.5, 3 years before that,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's extremely popular. We run 2 matches a month, Thursday nights. Yeah, we have 32, I think, club members, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, 30, 32. We open the match up 2 weeks in advance. For each match, it opens up about 2 weeks in advance for the club members. And then any spots that aren't taken by club members, he throws it out on practice score and lets whoever wants to sign up, sign up.
Mm.
Usually fills up within about 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, especially with indoor, they can go pretty quick, right? Because
Yep.
you can't have maybe two squads.
We have 2 bays. We run 2 squads of 15. We set up 2 stages. Squad one shoots stage one, squad two shoots stage two. We switch squads, they shoot, and then we modify the stages. Sometimes move props around, sometimes add or remove targets and change start positions or maybe start condition, that kind of thing. And we wind up getting 4 stages and then a classifier one time a month.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
you're able to shoot and use your bays and shooting indoors is fun, especially in the winter when it's cold up here, or as you guys do it during the weeknight. Get out and shoot after work or something. But
Yeah,
there's
it's a great opportunity for new shooters. I think that's one of the things we're happiest and the proudest about is we bring along a lot of new shooters who then stick with the sport. I would say probably 45, 50 shooters have come through all that and stuck with it over the last 10, 12 years. And there's no weather problem indoors. We don't have to worry about that.
Hmm.
Sometimes when we know that one of our local weekend matches is going to get rained out, we'll actually set up a Sunday match and come in at 7 a.m. on Sunday and set up and shoot 4 stages. Um, so yeah, it's and they're not Mickey Mouse stages either. The distance on them, obviously, we're limited on the distance that we can do, but we set up really nice stages. You can check them out on. I post almost all of them on my YouTube, so you can see the quality of the stages. They're almost as good as an outdoor match.
Hmm. Well, and you guys take good care of your props. It looks like you guys have good walls. It's not like one of the indoor clubs I help with in the winter. They they pretty much have the snow fence with like a target stick, like a long target stick on the
Thick,
top
yeah,
and bottom, and it's like hooked up onto the rafters, and it's like
yeah.
this is
One
kind
of our
of
Yeah, one of our local clubs that ran a match about 8 years ago. That's exactly what they would do: either a tarp with a stick stuck to the bottom of it, or snow fence.
hmm.
And we built, or David built, uh, probably 15, 20 walls out of PVC,
Hmm.
and we ran that for 8 years probably until they'd been repaired and shut up and repaired and shut up, and so finally we switched 2 years ago to 2x2s and a hook system on top, so they hook up onto the rails where the target runners run for the indoor range, and those have worked out fantastic. If I can just keep people from shooting them and blasting holes in them, yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah. People are always going to shoot it. Remember the verbiage: if it's downrange, it will be shot.
yeah,
But that's really cool. And like you said, it's brought about 45 new people into the sport that've stuck around, which is awesome. I mean, indoor ranges are like the gateway to new shooters, to finding clubs and matches,
yep, one hundred
and getting
percent,
better with firearms. I mean, single lane shooting is not going to get you better.
yep. The competitive shooters of Lake Norman is the name of the club, and when we travel on the weekends, we'll travel with probably 8 to 10 members going to a local. Rowan, which is the biggest outdoor match close to us, we have an entire squad there that's going to be filled up with competitive shooters of Lake Norman guys, and then we'll overflow 3 or 4 club members into one of the other squads. So we're taking 14, 15, 16 members to that match as well.
That is impressive, and it's so cool when you run around with your people that you shoot with all the time, and you you
Yeah,
know you know the quality of people
yeah,
that the quality of the people who are going to be shooting, and you don't have to worry about worrying if you are the only RO or certified person or a person knowledgeable enough to run the timer.
yeah. That's the on squad 5 is our Rowan squad, and there'll be 14 people on that squad, and 12 of them can run the timer.
Yeah, right.
There'll be 12 certified ROs on one
That's
squad.
that is impressive. Now, like for myself, like I'm part of one of the clubs, one of the better clubs. I would say it's probably the best club in Michigan. And we are now dealing with a problem with last year. Our average was 39 shooters. We've hosted 2 matches already this season, and we've had 69 to 70 shooters show up, and like we have like a squad and a half of brand new shooters. It's like,
Right.
okay, we all right, guys. I guess you can't shoot with your friends anymore. We got to split everybody up so we have enough certified people or knowledgeable enough people to run the match, because we can't put 12 new people on a squad.
Yeah, that usually doesn't work well.
No, it's they have no idea what's going on, and then you get backed up, and it's like, guys, you're on the first stage still.
Yep.
But but no, that's impressive. You and I have talked previously. Well, I'll back up. You are obviously now the Rowan match director, if I'm still correct.
That's correct. Yeah.
And we've talked many a times about how your match filling up in what, 2 minutes.
Some months it's within 5 minutes. This week it filled up in 5 minutes. Uh, Last month it actually didn't fill up until the third day. The month before that, that was terrible. It filled up within 30 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah, we had practice corps just couldn't handle it, and it wound up approving 101 people, and we can only handle 84. So that was a bit of a problem. We dealt with it. But,
so how many people withdrew from that match before it actually happened?
we probably had 4 or 5 withdrawals. Um, we wound up shooting 100 or approving 103, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and look, but I think it was 103. And then I don't know how many showed up on the day of. I would have to look. But what we did was I got approval from the board to open up another bay. So we had 7 bays, and we shot eight stages, 7 squads.
There you go. At least then everybody pretty much got to shoot who wanted to shoot, and
Yeah, I think there were about 12 or 14 people that were still on the wait list that never got in. And then there were a couple people that didn't show up, which was annoying. But that happens no matter what.
yeah,
Every time you have a match, there's going to be people that don't show up.
right, exactly. It never fails. Someone's either not going to show up and not tell you. As a match director, you probably know this. You'd much rather have somebody withdraw from the match
Oh
than
yeah,
not than just not show up.
yeah. We send out a message on Thursday and then again on Friday, usually telling people if we've got a wait list, which we have for the past year almost. Telling people that we've got people on the wait list. If you know you're not going to make it, please withdraw. It doesn't matter though. Still, there's going to be a small handful of people that just don't show up. We had a lady. I think that was 2 months ago. She showed up at 8 o'clock or so. We don't get finished setting up until about 9:30. But she showed up around 8 o'clock and just sat there at the registration, hoping somebody would not show up. And eventually, Dan just said, "Yeah, you can shoot," and he let her in the match. He made a spot for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially if she just sat there and waited, or did she help set up?
No, she just sat there and waited and kept talking with Dan and asking him, "Did anybody not show up? Did anybody not show up?" He was a bit annoyed, but yeah.
And you guys still set up the day of, correct?
7 a.m.
And you get everything done in 2 hours, roughly.
Usually by between 9 and 9:30 we'll be finished. Yeah.
That's impressive. Do you pull everything to the bays a little ahead of time, or?
Yeah. So I go at 6 a.m. and drop off the props for the classifier stage, and then I start dropping off the props for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That way, when Dan gets there, he can go straight because Dan always does a classifier. That way, he can go and start as soon as he gets there. He can start building the classifier stage, and then the setup staff usually starts trickling in 7:05, anywhere like 6:50 to 7:05, 7:15, somewhere around there. And they'll just send them to a bay that's already got stuff on it, and they'll start putting them together.
Right. And the nice thing is you have the division of power and labor, right? You're not all just, we're going to work on one stage. No, we're going to.
No. Now we send 2 or 3 to each bay, and it's typically like Royer, John. He always designs at least one stage, and he'll want to build the one that he designed, so that's cool. And he'll come and get on his own props. He's got a trailer, so that saves me the back and forth for one bay. And then the other guys, if one of the guys designed the stage, he'll want to build his stage, which is understandable. And we have a core group of guys that have been there 8 years. They know what they're doing. If I forgot to drop something off, they know where to get it. It works out pretty smoothly.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, the smoother you can make it, the easier it is to get help and people willing to help set up. So,
yep. And that's really the only benefit we have is if you set up is you get a free match. So I try to make it easy on the guys so they'll want to continue doing it because free match isn't that big of a deal, right?
Right. Well, and that's the trick is those broke college kids who love shooting so much. Come set up. Don't spend $25. I'm assuming your match is like what? Is it $25 or $30?
20.
20. Just for a regular outside member, not even a member, it's $20.
Members are 15.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
$20 match, 15 for members. Yeah, and the club members, Rowan Wildlife Club members, are guaranteed a spot. So Even if they don't sign up, they can call or register and tell Dan, I'm a member, and he'll have to find a spot for them.
Mm. So does he try to reserve X amount of spots for that? So
Yep.
pre-built in.
Yep. So two spots on each squad is going to be reserved for about an hour to an hour and a half after registration, because you have club members who don't try to register right at 8 o'clock, and then after about an hour, hour and a half, he'll open up those spots, and anybody who's already signed up can squat in those. But usually certainly by the next morning, we know who's coming and who's not. People have learned over the last 6 years that you got to sign up the first day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to try to get your squad.
Yeah. I have found that it is interesting. You'll have the people who sign up the day of, well, especially up here, there's not as competitiveness like it is Rowan. But you'll have people who sign up the day it opens, and then you have the people who wait to like the last 48 hours to sign up for the match. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then last month we had to, I think we decided like in the 2 days before we had to design a 7th stage and throw it on the ground. So I was like, that was the first. When the shooters dictated that we needed another one. Man, we got out of there a little bit later than normal, but it was worth it. So you took over for Rowan in 2020, end of 2024?
I think it was June of last year. So going on almost a year now.
Going strong, and that's good. Now,
Yeah, May or June. I can't remember exactly. It was late spring, early summer.
yeah.
Brian Wolf was the match director for 8 years. You've talked with him. You know him.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. Just grew the match. And I remember before COVID, it was almost as competitive now to try to get in. You had to get in the first hour or you weren't going to get in, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he did. He and Dan did a great job. I'm just trying to, follow along, keep it high quality and fun for everybody.
Right. Well, and that's all you can do, right? And the nice thing is you can grow it and make it better. It's kind of hard to grow it when you can only have 6 bays or 1 day of shooting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of growing right now, which is fine. I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have when you're full, right? You're not worried about, is it going to fill up?
Right, and you can kind of expect how much the club or the range is going to make and keep them happy, right?
Yep.
And that's I've started my own club up, so I help all these clubs out. But now that I've started my own club, dealing with that board has been interesting about how to tell them, hey, we're going to make we can make X dollars if we do this right.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that'd be nice. And it's like, yep, it's a lot of work, but we'll get there. And then getting them to follow and trust the process of it's like, if we build it, they will come at some point.
Yeah. The people who came before me dealt with the board and did all that, thank goodness. But I actually just this past week asked them because there's a 5th Saturday coming up this month, and I asked them, could I host a 5th Saturday match, and they said no. So I don't think they care much about the money.
No, well, they want to hold the bays open for their members who can't read their emails or check the calendar.
Yes, they do.
Just like when especially when people have the Carolina Classic at the range and people still want to shoot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So speaking of the Carolina Classic, are you the match director for that match?
Yes. I got suckered into that. John did it for the past, well, not the past, but he did it for 4 years in a row when it was held at Rowan. Then last year it went to Sir Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Walter's no longer a member of the North Carolina section, so we needed a place to host it again. And it really comes down to there's only 3 clubs there was only 3 clubs in the section that were big enough to hold it. Now there's just 2, so yeah.
Without getting into any major drama, is it more because did Sir Walter just want to get their own slots for nationals or more drama?
I think there's drama there, yes. I think the official reason had something to do with insurance, and Sir Walter's board wanted some insurance to be taken out, and then before, because we have a new section coordinator, Alan Terrell. I don't know if you know him or not. And before really he even had a chance to investigate all that stuff, they just withdrew from the section,
Mm.
which is annoying because the section spent a lot of money to host the, the match there last year. Um, and now that, was just a 1 year one-off expense basically.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, exactly. And
So we're going to try to build the funds back up for the section this year, and then see what we can do going forward.
right. Well, and then the worst part is, right, the section to get, national slots via section, right? Those activities that Sir Walter, contributed helped bring in X amount of
Well,
slots.
yeah, for the section, yeah.
Well, yeah, and so now it's you have, Rowan's going to be the one bringing in pretty much most of the activities. So
Yeah, Low Country is the second biggest club, and they actually might run more shooters per month at their match because they're a slightly bigger range. So yeah,
but and so Low Country can run more stages, which means essentially
yeah,
more
I
shooters.
think they have 11 or 12 bays down there, and they run 7 or 8 squads for their monthly match if they can get people signed up. They don't get that every month, but yeah,
Yeah. So the possibility is there. So
possibly yeah.
so you're the match director for the Carolina Classic here in a couple months. It's in September again, correct?
September, yeah, 12th, I think 12th, 14th, 13th, 14th, something like that.
Sounds about right. Have you started planning for that match yet, or not
Oh yeah,
quite yet?
no, we started back in January.
Hmm.
Uh, all the stages are done and have been approved by USPSA. They're posted on practice court. Um, all the sponsors are in. All the stage sponsors are actually up on practice court as well. Um, Match jerseys for staff and competitors are done, and you can order those now if you're a competitor. What else? Yeah, targets arrived last week. Yeah, last week. I haven't got the paint and stuff yet, but it's ordered. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah, it sounds like it, which is smart. I mean, you've already got a lot of it done
Yeah,
because
and
why wait? So much shit to get
no,
going.
yeah, Royer's doing all. He's handling all the sponsorship stuff because he's done that 4 times in a row. Yeah, and I did all the stages. I'm gonna do all the staff for setup crew, and we'll have a day sometime between now and then where we do all the hardcover targets, and we're gonna do wall repair this week before the local match, and then we'll build new walls sometime between now and September. So we'll have a bunch of new walls as well.
There you go. Now, wall repair is important, people. Taking care of your props is important. I
Yeah.
don't. I've met some ranges that are like, "Oh, well, it's really shot up. We'll just burn it." I'm like, "What? No! Like, just take that piece off and fix it."
Yep. We're going to try to do a bunch of repair this month before the local.
Which is smart. And then you're not compounding everything into the month or the month right before the match. I mean, we're in major match season now. I mean, did you shoot South Carolina as well?
I staffed South Carolina. I shot that Georgia Peach Classic as a competitor only.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'll staff Area 6, um, staff North Carolina, and I'm staffing PCC Nationals.
Oh, so you're going all the way out to Utah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So, wow, brain fart. Wow, this is a problem when you're on the range for since Wednesday and you're fine. I got back to work and I slept decent because I slept in my own bed. Hotel beds suck, by the way. Like no, I don't. Anyone who tells you they sleep great in a hotel is lying to you. Both-faced lying. To you. But no, today I got up and I was like, oh, this sucks. Have to go back to work, but I guess I lost my train of thought where I was really going with this with my side tangent, but it's okay. So that's a lot of major matches, or is that a light load for you?
I think that this year because I'm also going to shoot Area 5.
Yep.
So probably this year, I think I'm going to shoot 2 more than I did last year. Yeah, I think it'll be 2 more majors this year than I shot last year.
Yeah,
Because I got the Ohio Buckeye Blast. John gave me that slot for Outdoor Dynamics, and I picked up a certificate from last year's PCC Nationals for Area 5.
See, and that's the nice thing is you didn't have to pay for the slot, so you just had to get yourself there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a pretty good squad for Area 5. Shooting with the GOAT.
It stays the way it is right now. There's a pretty good shooter in that squad.
Yeah, there's a couple good shooters. There's a couple in there that are pretty good.
Now you got me wanting to look because I don't know if the one that I'm talking about is still there or not.
Yeah, he hasn't moved.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
Okay.
Yet. We'll see.
Because he was in my squad for South Carolina.
Then he bailed on you.
And then he bailed on me, yeah.
Thank you for checking out another episode of Manny Talks Shooting. I greatly appreciate it. And if you could do me a favor, please go patronize our partners when you are available. We have always, as the title sponsor, D2 Custom Guns. We've got Outdoor Dynamics, Make Stuff Better, 2 Alpha Apparel, Range Panda, Laugh and Load, Hunter's HD Gold, and Southern Bobby Q. Now, thank you. Let's get on with this episode.
What the heck? Where is that? Area 5 Championship. By the way, Excalibur, they sponsor a lot of matches and they give away a lot of certificates, but they don't answer you when you email them. What's up with those guys? Do you have a contact there?
I don't. I have a guy who has that contact information, though.
Yeah, he's still in the squad. I see him there.
Yeah, I don't. It's very challenging sometimes to get a hold of certain people, and it is definitely annoying. When you send, you think an email is relatively easy to answer, right?
I know. I sent 5 of them, and I'm going to give up and post about it on Instagram now.
There you go. That'll get some attention. Get some attention, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll get some attention.
I would just bother his sponsored shooters at that point too. It's like, hey.
That's my next step. Is I'm gonna ping all the ones that have the Excalibur on their jerseys and say, hey, tell somebody I want to cash in this certificate.
Right. Yeah. It's frustrating when you can't get a hold of, especially like they have you can call them, no answer. Email, good luck.
No.
But so you mentioned the Buckeye Blast. I think we talk about our soggy adventure.
Yeah.
So you shot Friday afternoon, Saturday morning.
Yes.
Started on stage 1.
Started on stage 1.
Well, okay. So I'll back up. So that was the flight you were shooting. You walked the stages the day prior. I
walked and watched staff shoot. Yeah.
So I saw you like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
You forgot everything. What didn't you forget for this match?
Oh, I left a pair of glasses that I needed for driving. I left the ear pro that I wanted to wear when I was walking the stage, is the over ear pro.
Mm-hmm.
I left. What else did I leave? My charger for my phone. I left the battery pack for having it on the range. God, I can't even remember. I left all kinds of stuff. It was annoying.
You almost could have left all your guns there.
No, I did that for North Carolina last year. I left my gun on my front porch.
On your front porch.
Yeah.
Did you call your neighbor to can you go pick that up?
No, I went out at it's probably 4:45 or something like that. I went out and put everything on the front porch, and then I went out the back through the garage, grabbed the ammo bucket and something else, and put it in the truck, and got in the truck and drove off. And David calls me and says, "Hey, I'm running late. I'll meet you at our meeting place where we meet, and then combine everything into his truck." And I said, I can't remember what I said. He said, "Did you bring such and such?" And I thought, "Oh, fuck! All my stuff is on the front porch."
Oh, so you had to turn around.
And I told him, "Hey, I'm going to be late too." And I turned around right there and went back home and got all the stuff off the front.
So how far were you from your house then at that point?
8 minutes.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't 20 minutes there, and then you're like, oh shit, I got to turn around and drive another.
No, because our meeting place is only about 10 minutes from my house. So.
Oh, so you were pretty much there at the meeting spot.
I was almost to the meeting place. Yeah.
Well, it's better, I guess. You found out before you got to start loading up vehicles.
Oh yeah. That would have been. He's like, okay, where's your gun? I was like, oh, on the front porch.
Well, luckily it was early in the morning and no one was going to steal your blue PCC.
No, hope not.
So that's a good question. What's the brain fart? Try to use big word, don't use it. Why is blue your favorite color?
Oh, back in 2019, I think it was around there. I did a whole bunch of very scientific um, experimentation, and I discovered that blue is actually the fastest color.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So everything must be blue now.
Everything's pretty much blue. Yeah.
I was a little disappointed your pants weren't blue, but I mean that was just me.
Well, I've tried lighter colored pants before, but in the summer, everybody says I have swamp ass. So I'm going to stick with the black.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But hey, you never know. Everyone at this match looked like they peed themselves anyway. But so you walk the stages at the end of staff shoot. Overall, what'd you think of the stages? Let's not include the weather portion. What'd you think of the stages overall?
No, I liked all of the stages except the multi mover stage with all the boxes. All the other stages I thought were pretty well thought out. I liked the variety of the challenges that they presented. There were a lot of distance shots that we don't see a lot at North Carolina, South Carolina. South Carolina, we usually have one stage with a lot of long range stuff. North Carolina, you may or may not get one.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. Right, I mean, stage one right away, I thought was there may or may not have been a whole lot of different plans because it was basically run to the right corner and shoot it. So, but once you got there, there was variety of how you engage the arrays. You could start on such and such target or not, like especially that front box. I saw people shoot that front box 3 or 4 different ways, just basically 1.5 positions there, and people shot it a whole bunch of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that stage was our first stage, and that set me off on a bad path right away. Um, those steel targets were definitely not set right. The wind was blowing 40 miles an hour directly into the forward falling poppers, and we had 5 different people shoot them and not knock them down because the wind was kind of holding them up, and none of us, not one of us, won the calibration calls. So
the wind knew exactly when to stop, right?
it was just so disappointing. It was like everybody was pissed off. Yeah, so that got me started off really poorly right there, right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely can understand that frustration, especially when the forward fallers. Luckily, I would say they were just mini forward fallers. I've seen so many people hosed by a large forward faller. Well,
Yeah,
stage 10 did have a forward faller, but they couldn't get it they couldn't calibrate it properly. Like they couldn't fix it, or I don't know what was it. They couldn't fix it, or they couldn't calibrate it properly, so they pulled it and put a
yeah,
mini on the stand.
yeah,
So half of our staff squad had to reshoot 10.
yeah,
Yeah, I was very aggravated because I was like, I was first person shoots it fine. The wind in the bullshit picks up. Second person shoots it, calls for calibration.
right.
Did he win calibration? No. Yeah, he won calibration. And then they couldn't calibrate it or something. And then they said, screw it, we're not going to fight with it. So they took the big popper out, put the mini in. So then they had to reshoot it. So I got iced. I was waiting like 20 minutes to shoot. Like I was like, because I had to call Mr. Fix It or whatever. So I got iced.
Yeah.
I was not happy about being iced, right?
Right.
It's just, that's absolutely frustrating to me.
Yeah. And
But,
that happened to me on the mini, not the multi mover stage with that stupid pressure pad.
yeah.
It kept failing, and I had to start and restart that stage 3 times.
Ugh.
And then the door stage, that one, every time he told me to make ready, a popper downrange fell.
So they were too light.
So those were, yeah, they were falling over in the rain and the wind because they were too light.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. But everybody had pretty much the same conditions, so
Yeah.
they should have handled it better.
No, and I agree on the multi-box activator stage. There was way too many activators in one small stage.
it was just kind of it was like sometimes you have a stage and people say this is gimmicky. I think that was pretty much a definition of this is gimmicky.
Yeah, without without any crazy clown action. Yeah, I could definitely agree.
Yeah, the only thing it was missing was a holy monkey, I guess.
No, you keep that down there in you keep that down there in the Carolinas. We don't need those any up here.
No, I hate that thing.
What do you hate about it? The pattern it takes, or just that it's consistently inconsistent?
I hate. I don't know so much that it's inconsistent. I know a lot of people bitch that it is, and a lot of people say no, it's 100% consistent. I just hate it because honestly, I've never one local that because they have one at Belton. One time at a local at Belton, I shot it perfectly, and every other time I've ever shot at that thing, I've just screwed it up royally. So
Mm.
probably 10 times I've seen it in matches, and 1 out of 10 I've got it.
Yeah, yeah. I've not shot a holy monkey in a holy monkey configuration. When I go down to the Kentucky bluegrass match, Leif has Target USA swingers, but he doesn't. It's been years since he's actually set it up as a holy monkey.
Yeah,
So we get the decency of the nice activator, but it's definitely not a. It's not a holy monkey. Yeah.
right.
But So what? So in the match, what was your favorite stage?
Um, oh, I kind of like the one with the inline poppers. That was a pretty cool stage. And I also like the one with the hard leans and the low port.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I just wished I'd have shot because I went to my weak shoulder for the last two poppers, and I
Mm-hmm.
wished I'd have shot that first one better. I wound up with 2 makeup shots on that one. I would have been right at the top of that stage if I hadn't. But,
Yeah. I also think it's a little rough. That stage was with the really hard leans and the fact that the walls were outside the shooting area.
yeah, you can't touch them.
Yeah, I think that was a little too punitive. I think, in my opinion, I'm just like, really, like we're gonna give him a really hard lean, but then we're gonna put a wall
I agree.
outside the shooting area.
I agree. Yeah, it was like a double penalty almost.
Well, and then you shooting a rifle is like it just says screw PCC like the whole
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I understood the challenge that they were trying. They wanted you to decide: am I going to make this really hard lean and be, compromising my structure for the shot, or try weak-handed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I understand the challenge,
Yeah,
but you're right. It would have been a little less uh, rough on the shooters if they had made the walls touch the shooting area.
yeah, or even just saying the WSB. Even though if I design a stage like that, the wall would be my front fault line. I would just be like, bam, there.
Right.
Well, and it saves you from putting a fault line down where you don't really need a fault line. It's not gonna do you any good to put a fault line underneath it. But
Correct.
that's just me. I'm lazy. I don't want to put crap down on the ground that I got to pick back up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Don't do extra work if you don't need to. It's not a good reason. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think my favorite, I think, was the 3 per stage. I saw a lot of different plans, even on my squad,
Yep.
and that one seemed like to have the most options. It seemed like.
Probably. Yeah, because like the door stage, there was no options.
Yeah.
Uh,
It didn't make you stop in the middle at all. Like,
no, they put that there as a false opening. Yeah, like to trick people, I guess. Uh, yeah, the 3 per stage had a ton of options. You could shoot it probably 6 or 7 different ways, I guess, depending on which direction you wanted to start in.
hmm
I wound up shooting the same stage plan on that one as Joey. Uh, Turned out okay. I think I was in the top 4 or something on that one. I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
yeah, that was a good. I thought that was a pretty good stage. It was funny during the match. I think on Saturday afternoon, Bay 2 was literally. I want to say the whole shooting area was underwater. Like it had gotten so bad. They dug a canal through the bay so it would start draining at least to the one side. And of course, the French drain, or it was a vertical French drain, I want to say, the drain was up like 4 inches. So I ended up just cutting down and the rock was down here. So I
Yeah.
dug down a little bit deep and I cut the pipe down so it started draining. By the end of the day, the swamp was gone, and then It was so bad. They put 2 pallets in the swamp so people could paste the one target next to the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But by the time it was drained out, like you just saw the pallets there. It was like, oh well, there's no water now, guys.
Yep.
That staff squad, those staff were very happy to see me with a shovel.
Oh yeah. I
They're,
bet.
they're just like, oh, thank God someone was able to do something about it. Because yeah, when they said it got past my ankles, this is bullshit.
Yeah. I think 10 or 11. I can't remember which one. One it had some long shots. The middle of that one became very, very muddy right before, because we finished on 11 and 12. And I remember the last 2 stages, you were standing in 5, 6 inches of water when you were pasting those targets.
Yeah, it definitely it definitely didn't drain very fast. That's for sure. But hey, we're past that crappy weather. It was funny. I was on a board meeting, one of my board meetings. I'm just an observer on the last one I was on, and one guy was like, "Hopefully, they're trying to do this new drainage project at the range." And they're like, "Hopefully, it rains in May." And we're two of us who were at the match. We're like, "Please shut up! No,
Yeah.
don't talk about that R word." I don't
No,
want.
enough of that.
Yeah, I've had enough of it for a lifetime. So Ike, what are some of your goals? Do you have any goals for this season in particular?
Uh, well, I guess I'll be looking forward to nationals mostly. North Carolina, typically, certainly for the last 4 or 5 years, my goal is to win um, the state title in PCC. But unfortunately, the other Isaac is going to shoot it this year, and I don't know that I can top him. So second place would be the most there. But what I really want to do is try to improve again at nationals. Last year I was up a little bit in percentage. At Georgia I was up in percentage on max. So I'll look forward to Area 5, see if I can close the gap a little bit, and then at nationals.
So why do you say that you will only become second to Isaac Hansen?
Yeah, he's pretty fast. So
Yeah,
I don't know if I can keep up with him.
just kick him in the kneecaps.
Yeah,
It's
trip
like,
him. Exactly.
yeah, or just 10-6 in front sportsmanlike conduct for being too good.
Or maybe he'll uh, have a bunch of malfunctions or something with that new mean arms.
You never know. It seems like everybody's switching to the mean arms lately. Like it
Oh
was the
yeah,
JP5 for like 6 months, and then the mall came out from mean arms, and everyone's like, "I'll take one of those."
yeah, gotta have that now.
And shit, I just built my PCC. I'm very happy with my PCC build.
I love my gun. There's no doubt that those guys have guns that shoot better than mine, but my
Hmm.
gun is extremely reliable. It's got over 100,000 rounds on it now. Um,
With or
yeah,
without a barrel swap.
no barrel swaps. The only thing I've changed on that gun is the buffer system. The
Okay.
buffer system that came with the whole gun is made by Battle Arms, and except for the trigger. Trigger's Hyperfire. So all the parts and stuff, the barrel, the compensator, the bolt carrier, everything on the gun, stock,
Hmm.
handguard made by those guys. The buffer system in it was complete garbage, and it broke within about 500 rounds. They replaced it. It broke after about another 500, 600 rounds. So I put a Ken shot in it and used that for 3 or 4 years. And then last year I went to the um, Max Defense roller bearing delay buffer, and
Hmm.
I love that thing. It made the gun shoot quite a bit softer and flatter. The lights went up. Sorry, um, but it's extremely difficult to charge. So unloaded starts, you gotta pay attention and not screw around with your unloaded starts because it takes a lot of force to charge it.
Now is your rifles at a side charger or just normal charging?
No, just regular. Yeah,
Gotcha. I'm very like I have my gun's a Da Vinci upper lower set at least. I built the rest of it, but I won a receiver set from David, so I was like, cool. I'll build off of that
yeah,
because
absolutely.
I wanted side charging. I mean, it was kind of just like, oh yay, this is awesome. Just because it
Does
makes
it
it
run
easy.
well?
Yeah, it using Outdoor Dynamics PCC ammo with a short stroke kin shot buffer system in
Right.
there.
Yep.
So I pretty much built I picked the parts based off of dealing with Jason Clark and Mark Schulte. Just like,
Right.
what should I put on this thing? I mean, it started by winning a cert for a Coda handguard. That's what started this PCC build. So I was like, yeah. Oh, it was a Coda comp and a handguard. So I was like, yeah, I'll build
Yeah.
a PCC.
Two
And
parts.
luckily,
That's all you need.
yeah, you just need a what was it? Somebody was like an AR-15 safety. It's like I have to build another rifle now. And I'm like,
Yeah. I found a decent.
that's what it is. I found a
So we
D10. I got to build a rifle.
got to build a rifle.
So I've tested it. The PCC ammo load definitely shoots very flat. Like it tracks really well in that gun, and it's super soft. I just got to figure out how to shoot rifle. It's different than shooting a pistol. I mean, in all reality, having to, you can bring the gun to your eyes but now you got to bring your eyes to the gun, like with shooting a rifle.
Yeah. And transition is a little bit different too.
Yep.
With a handgun, you can, you got your hands out in front of your face. You can turn your head and your eyes and then bring the gun over. But when you've got the gun cheek well and you want to look and take your head, your cheek and everything, the gun's going to go with you. So you got to be careful. You wind up staring at the dot a lot.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. I played with it a little bit of practice, and I think about 50 rounds out just with me because I was right before Buckeye. I was like, all right, I'm gonna check the zero. Like I just got my backup open gun back. My original one I had, it got sent off to get recoded because the Cerakote job the guy did on the gun, it just didn't hold up. So I got it black nitrided and some others and polished and some. It looks pretty. It looks really good now. But I was like, well, I got to check the zero on this gun and chrono the ammo out of it. So luckily enough, I can chrono. I put the same ammo through both my guns. One just chronos faster.
Yeah.
So luckily enough, I've developed the load for the first the D2 gun, and then the backup gun is just spicier on the. It's a little faster with the load. I don't know how. Well, I guess it's because the barrel's slightly longer because one's a midi and one's not.
Probably.
But yeah. So I took it and I tested. I played for about 50 rounds, zeroed the gun, and then played around with some transitions and shooting freaking like a steel out at like 30 yards. It was kind of fun. But it was like an 8-inch plate that's like a square 8-inch plate. So it's like dink. But I'm too lazy to reset it because I got one of those Targets USA Rhino knockdowns, but you flip it upside down so it just bangs against the 2x4 so you don't actually have to reset it.
Right.
Which is kind of nice. I mean, especially if you practice. Speaking of that, do you actually get to go practice outside or do you not practice? There you go.
Yeah. So for the first 8.5 years, I guess, of competitive shooting, my only practice was either dry fire or standing in a single lane at the indoor range or matches. That was my practice. And I used basically matches as practice because I didn't have access to an outdoor range. I didn't have no membership. Yeah. I shoot now I'm shooting 8 matches a month, pretty much. But for the first 6 years or so, I was shooting 4 matches a month.
So you shoot your 2 leg Normans, right?
2 Lake Normans Thursday night matches.
You shoot Rowan.
I shoot 2 Tuesday night indoor action pistol matches that I run at Lake Norman. So those are basically outlaw matches.
Okay.
That's 4 indoor matches a month. And then I shoot every Saturday. So I'm going to shoot first Saturday. We're going to either go to Sir Walter, Spartanburg, or Sioux City. Second Saturday is Rowan. Third Saturday is either Spartanburg or Sioux City. Fourth Saturday is Belton. And sometimes Hawkeye.
Oh, there you go. You got plenty of options.
Oh yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. About 6 matches within 3 hours. If we want to push it out to 3.5 to 4 hours, we can go to Palmetto Gun Club or Low Country, or there's a couple matches in Virginia. Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, you can pick any of those matches and go, and there'll be, at least 1 or 2 GMs and a handful of M's. So when you show up, you're going to have some competition too.
Yeah, and that's always nice, especially when you can pick where you get to go, and you're like, all right, like You can actually go where the heat is, or go and win by yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see where you are, it's not hard to find a match within 3 hours of Charlotte that's going to have some quality shooters.
Mm-hmm. That was weird. Now the lights came back on.
No, I have a short in that light, and it keeps going on and off and on.
Okay, it makes me feel better. It's like, not like, oh yeah, you could lose you at any minute because of the power. But
No, it's not the power; it's the stupid light. Yeah,
yeah, got to find you an electrician friend.
I do have to find. I have to find an electrician friend, and a friend who owns a range, and a friend who owns a helicopter.
Why the helicopter though?
It's because with a helicopter we can get to these matches faster.
This is true. I mean, this is also true.
Yeah.
It's any way to get there fast. I wish, they said we'd have hover cars by now, right?
I know exactly.
I was like, where's the Jetsons were lying to me. Where's my hover car?
If I could travel faster, I'd expand my local match out about another 200 miles or so. I'd shoot
Yep.
Brock Gap, and I'd shoot some Georgia matches. Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm telling you, man, teleporter tubes, or the tubes like in the Futurama. You remember that? They just jump in the tube, fly through it.
I'd just settle for helicopter.
Yeah, there we go. We got to get you a friend with a helicopter, and be able to fly it and not be bothered.
Exactly.
No flight plan needed.
Get a Chinook, and we can put 6 or 7 people in there, and a Dillon XL 650. And
Crank out people's ammo on the drive on the flying.
on the way to the match.
I can't. It's not seating. Hey, the bullet feeder doesn't want to work when you move up and down, guy. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, man. Now I want a helicopter too, or somebody
Exactly. See, and mine's going to be blue.
It has to. Well, what kind of blue is it? Like light baby blue, or what's the shade of blue?
Royal blue.
Royal blue.
Sonic blue.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. We have a buddy up here we call Sonic, and it's more of an insult than a cute nickname.
Because he's wild.
No, because he's slow.
Oh, he's slow.
Yeah. So we call him Sonic, and then in hopes that he'll speed up. But anywho. So you said you're hoping to be this, second place North Carolina champ, improve your percentage, and do really well in Utah.
Yeah, that would be my goals.
Like you said, you can't really grow the Pro-Am match at the point because you only have so many bays. You can't add any more.
No, we've had some. John and I and Dan have had some discussions about either maybe doing a half match on Sunday. So we would set up on Saturday, shoot the match, leave it up, and then shoot half the number of people on Sunday. But I don't think they're going to be open to that either. I really don't. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Would it be after church though on Sundays?
Have to be. We can't start shooting there until 12 on Sunday.
So then you get a forgiveness note essentially for the classic. Then
Correct.
you just get an exemption for, hey, we kind of need to shoot before noon.
Yep. So we've hosted major matches there: Carolina Classic, Area 6, and then Corey Shield. I think 3 times now he's come and done the World Series Falling Steel, and they give him an exemption so he can start shooting early on Sunday.
Yeah. Have you shot a Falling Steel World Series match yet?
I worked his match, the first one when he came to Rowan. I worked it and shot it.
Yeah, I've shot one of them. It was pretty fun.
It was fun, but I'm not into that. I don't like to stand and shoot stuff. If I wanted to shoot it,
I told him like my wife was a pretty new shooter when she shot that match. She'd shot maybe, she's gone to practice with me, but she went and shot Falling Steel World Series match, and she timed out on every stage, like other than one, like the inline plate rack stage.
Oh God, that was the worst one for me.
So she timed out on everything, and I'm like, dude, your penalties are like too ridiculous for new people. Like, I understand when you're like, there's a timeout penalty, but like when you add 5 seconds per plate left up,
all the mics, yeah.
It's like, yeah, no. Now I can understand. I leave 2 plates up, missing them, and I still have a good time, right? Yeah, penalize me for the plates, right? But when you time out, you should just be max 60 seconds, move on.
Just be yeah.
Instead of 60 seconds, plus another
Plus
35.
30 more for the mics. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely an interesting sport to get people into this into shooting.
Oh, I think it's great. Just like Steel Challenge. I've never shot Steel Challenge, but I think it's a great vehicle to get new people in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I
not going
agree.
to do
Oh, I
it.
do it once a year. Someone asked me, "Hey, can you fill in while I'm gone for one of our clubs?" And it's like, "Yeah, I guess I can fill in as we're putting the match. I don't know how to put the match on the ground. Get your volunteers to do it. I'll be here to let them do it, but because
You're gonna,
I don't know what bay's going what,
yeah,
but I can drive the tractor around. That's all I can pretty much do now. Is I got certified to drive the tractor. It's a nice
nice.
little It's a nice little tractor too. But yeah, no, Steel Challenge is like a once a year kind of thing, and yeah, I'll shoot it. I mean, now that I got the PCC and the wife's got her rimfire pistol, she's like, "Yeah, let's go shoot some Steel Challenge." I'm like, "Yes, you can go shoot Steel Challenge. I
Yeah.
will stand there and sit in my chair and not do a damn thing."
No, I'm not going to shoot it. I teach a introduction class at the range once a month, and I talk about Steel Challenge and I talk about three gun and cowboy action and all that stuff. And I tell people, if you're interested, here's where you can go to do it in the local areas. But I'm not going to do it. I'll
Right.
recommend it, but I'm not doing it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna do it. So Ike, your next match. I keep blanking. What's your next match? Because it's beginning of May. What's the
Yep.
next one?
The next major or the next match? The next
Next
match is
major.
going to, the next major. I'm pretty sure is going to be Area 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, you got a big gap then between majors then.
Yep. I think Area 5 is the next one, and then Area 6, and then Carolina
Nationals.
Classic, and then Nationals.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so that'd be
So,
exciting.
yeah. Now we may or may not sign up for something else between now and then, but I don't know.
But that's what's on the schedule
That's
currently.
what's on the schedule. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, Ike, if people want to get a hold of you, maybe they want to schmooze on you to get into the Rowan match after it's full. Where
Uh,
can people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you?
that just happened today. Some guy said, "Hey, me and my buddy are on the wait list. Can you bump us up?" No, Instagram or the YouTube channel, either one. Uh, if you want to just DM me, then yeah, Instagram's the best.
Gotcha. Yeah, guys. So if you want to know more about Ike, you've heard it here. But if you want to go shoot a match at Rowan, that's where you can find him too. But my Ike man, thank you for hanging out with me and chit chatting with me. I know we were supposed to do this originally on Wednesday, and you were nice enough to move it to Monday because I have a board meeting to go to. But so I appreciate that. But I enjoyed our conversation and seeing you a couple days in a row now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, no problem. And till next, get out there and do the things, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.